If you are a Claude Code user and you are not using Claude Code skills yet, you're leaving one of the best features behind on the table. Two of the hottest things in AI right now, Claude Code skills and Google's Nano-Banana Pro. So in today's video, I'll be combining both for you. It's Christmas time, so rather than rushing out to the stores and fighting with people over the last remaining Christmas cards, why not vibe code your very own AI-powered personalized Christmas card? So here's the app that I vibe coded. All I need to do is just grab a picture. So you can see that's me over there. I can sign off with my name and I can just choose one of several readings that I have. So if I click it over here, that's me over there. This is a sweater that I do not own. And that's me in a house that I definitely do not own. And what's more, I've added an additional functionality where you can preview this card as a full 3D fold-out. So my goal today is to show you how I built this app. All it took were these 3 Claude Code skills that you see over here, as well as 3 prompts, and we were able to vibe this entire application to this final stage. But wait, what if you're watching this video after Christmas? Don't worry, I got you. With the skills that you have and everything that's been built in this app over here, you can very easily extend it to other things like have something for Happy New Year 2026, or if you want to take it a step further, you can create something for Lunar New Year, which is a little bit later. As you can see over here, not only does it put you inside the images, but it will also modify the theme such that with the greeting cards that you have, will be able to match the style that you want. And that's the power you have with AI today. All it takes is just a couple of skills, couple of prompts, and you'll be able to create a lot more personalized and interesting things for your friends and family. If you want the exact skills and prompts that I'm using today, I've made them completely free inside my Insiders Club. And if you want to take things a step further, that's inside builderpack.ai. It's my entire toolkit, includes source code, prompts, configurations, sub-agents, and everything that I use to build the apps in this channel. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off with this blank project over here, and the only things that we'll be using are listed over here in this .claude folder. So you can see I have the 3 skills that we'll be using. The first skill that you see here is the front-end design skill. Now, this one is actually from Anthropic, so you can download it straight from their repository and it will work right out of the box. The other 2 that we will be using today are the ones that I've created. There is a nano-banana skill, and this skill specifically enables you to build applications that use the latest nano-banana and nano-banana Pro functionality and APIs. And the third one over here is a threejs-builder. This skill is for building Three.js applications with the latest release of Three.js, and it helps you to avoid a lot of the mistakes that people will make when they're building Three.js apps, and this will help you create the 3D visualization of the card that you see. Now, if you're wondering how I created these 2 skills over here, I actually made use of something called Skill Creator Plus. This is a skill that I created, and it's more like a meta skill. It enables you to create new skills for Claude Code on any topic that you want. I've been using it to create other things such as an OG image creator, a fave icon creator, and as you can see, the nano-banana, as well as the threejs-builder skills. I have a separate video on this Skill Creator Plus skill and how to make use of it. If you're interested, you should check out the video, but otherwise you can get all of these skills, including the Skill Creator Plus skill, as part of my builder pack. Link in the description below. I'll be making this entire repository completely public so you can play around with it. I've just maximized the Claude window over here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make use of these prompts right over here to build the application. So here we go, build an app where a user uploads their selfie and the app uses Google's nano-banana to integrate them into a Christmas card. Keep it simple as an MVP and use the nano-banana skill. Now, you don't strictly need to specify this, but I always find it's very useful to make sure that it doesn't get it wrong. So off we go. I'm going to switch into plan mode, and this will enable, all right, I'm going to switch into plan mode, and I did it by doing Shift Tab. You can see it over here. And it's always a very wise thing to go into plan mode. So a couple of quick things I'm going to remember to do. Switch your model to Opus, especially when you are starting off a project. And I just noticed that my Claude doesn't look very nice. It doesn't have my status line. So I'm going to do the following command in order to get a nice status line, which is completely open source and you can take a look at it. So npx at Chong-U, cc status line at latest, and then do init. And this will ask you whether you want to install it, 1.4.0. And you will just say yes. You don't need logging for now and put it in the project, and this will allow your status line to look great. Okay, and so once it's done, you can just restart Claude by typing Claude, or I have a shortcut here that allows me to skip permissions. All right, so I activated my status line over here. You can see I am using Opus 4.5, Claude Code version 2.0.76, and I have this context that's remaining. And if you want to get hold of this status line, I actually have another video on it. But if you want the one that I'm using, it's completely open source. It's also in the description below. Okay, so we are ready to go. The first thing you want to do is make sure you do a /model, and you want to make sure that you're in Opus. And then I'm just going to paste the prompt that I have over here. I'm just going to kick this off right now, and it says build an app where a user uploads their selfie. The app uses Google's nano-banana to integrate it into a Christmas card. Keep it simple as an MVP, use the nano-banana skill. And you can see straight away here, it has loaded the nano-banana skill. You don't necessarily have to specify it because the whole point of it is that Claude Code should be able to figure out that it needs to use that skill. But whenever you're specific, it ensures that you're doing that. The other thing that you can see over here is that I'm using an MCP server called Exa. It is a very useful MCP server for getting up-to-date docs, especially related to coding APIs. You don't strictly need to use it, but it's just something that I have globally in my setup. So if you want to learn more about it, let me know in the comments. Okay, and you can see it's gone off and it's kicked things off already. It's installing the npm dependencies. It's just going to create the app, and then it's going to build the core functionality. And at the end of this step, you will already have a working application that is fully integrated with Google's Nano-Banana Pro. The only thing that you will need is a Google API key. Just search Google Cloud Console, and then you click on the first link. This will bring you to console.cloud.google.com. Click on this top left-hand corner, and then click New Project. And once you're in here, just specify any project that you want, fill out all of these details. Once you're inside, so you want to type API, okay, and then you'll see APIs and services. And once you get to this page, you want to go to credentials, and then you create credentials, and then you can create an API key over here, okay? And then once you've got this API key, you can tick this, and you can make use of that functionality for today's app. Now, the other thing that you need to realize is this account that you have will, for Nano-Banana Pro, needs to be tied to a paid billing account. All right, so now it's completed, and you will see that it's using Gemini 2.5 Flash image. So this is actually Nano-Banana, not Pro. So what you want to do sometimes when this happens is I'm just going to do a model, and I'm going to switch it to Haiku. And I'm going to say, I want to use Nano-Banana Pro, not Nano-Banana. And this is based on Gemini 3. You will see that the only thing that it really is changing it from Gemini 2.5 Flash image, which is Nano-Banana, to Gemini 3 Pro image preview, which is Nano-Banana Pro. Okay, so this is going to work. And now we're ready to go. If you want to run a bash command, you can always open up another terminal over here and type npm run dev. Okay, I think it's already running. You can see that it's actually already running. I'm just going to kill this because there's a background task over here, and you can see it's running at 3001. So let's open it up in Cursor's browser, because why not? And you can see this working over here. So I'm going to find a selfie of myself that I have. And you can see here, it says that the API key is missing. So I need to pass this into, so the way that you'll do it is that there's a .env example. Okay, so I just need to make a copy and rename it to .env.local. Okay, and then this is where you put in the key over here. And just put in your key over here. Perfect. Okay, so it should automatically reload and wrap the credentials. All right, and here you go. See, it's taken me and then it's put me into a Christmas card worthy version over here. Okay, now we will be able to download this image. And so you can see, you didn't really need to know anything about the Nano-Banana API. The only thing we did was switch from Nano-Banana to Nano-Banana Pro as part of our configuration. And then it was able to hook up everything. And it was all thanks to the nano-banana-builder skill that we had over here. And that's the power of skills. The idea here is that it just takes away the need for you to look up the docs and to figure out and understand best practice and all that kind of stuff. You just use the skill, put in your API key, and you have this working already. So now let's take this a step further to make this more interactive, and let's make the card 3D over here. So what we're going to do now is that we just jump back into Claude, and we will now proceed on with our next step. We have 78% context remaining, so it should be primed to just continue on, but you can also clear your context by typing clear, or you can actually compact it as well. But for now, we're all looking good. So I've switched back to Opus because we did this very quick change using Haiku so that we don't waste our usage. But I'm switching back to Opus right now so that we can go on with the next step. So the next step is that we're going to use this prompt over here. It's in 023.js. And just jumping back, and let's open this up. I'm going to paste it here. And let's go ahead and continue. So I'm going to say add a new button that previews the generated card as a 3D card that folds out. Use the Three.js-builder skill. And the other thing is that also update the image prompt so that we generate a fold-out image that can be UV mapped correctly. Now, if you don't know what UV map is, but I'll explain it to you very quickly, but effectively you can see that we have this Christmas card over here. But for it to be able to open up and then have the image laid out over the 3D, this is something called UV mapping. If you're familiar with games development, you will understand this, but effectively think of it as taking a printout and then sticking it onto a 3D object. You want to be able to make sure that the generated image is big enough. So that's what the instruction is saying over here. And you can see it's used the Three.js-builder skill, just like how it used the nano-banana-builder skill earlier. And then now it's going to update the prompt. It needs to update the prompt because the current prompt only generates a Christmas card, like a single image. But we want to have something where it's going to be able to fold out as a 3D card. Let me just quickly show what I mean over here. This is a version that I created from an earlier run to test out the skills. But in order to be able to project the image onto a card, it needs to be big enough and long enough. There is a bug with how it's generated here, which I fix subsequently, which I'll show you very quickly. But effectively, this is what it means to be UV mapped correctly onto the 3D image. Okay, so let's jump back into Claude Code right now and see where this leads us. All right, so it's completed now. So let's give this a shot. So I'm going to upload my image here, use the same image as before, and let's just give this a roll. So you can see here, that's my selfie, and this is me, and then this is a Christmas card. So I'm going to click on 3D preview and take a look at this. You can see, hey, this is a full 3D Christmas card. There is a small bug because it seems that it's flipped sideways. So what you can do very simply is just take a screenshot of this. All right. And then let's just close this for him. And now we can just fix this little bug. So I'm just going to Command V into Claude Code, and I'm going to actually speak this because it's a lot easier. There is a bug and I have a feature request. Look at the attached image. You will see that the UV mapping is inverted, so the text is not appearing correctly. Secondly, I would like the card in 3D space to be not completely folded out flat. I want it to have a bit of a fold. Okay, that's the instruction over here. You can see I'm using Whisperflow for those of you who are wondering what my text-to-speech app is. Okay, so we've asked it to fix this, and it's identified that the UVs are horizontally flipped. What I would do in this case is that I would then go ahead and update my threejs-builder skill so that it avoids something like this, because there must be an assumption that it made which resulted in this effect. And this is the thing to learn about skills. Skills are not just written once and then you fire and forget it. You should always be iterating your skills, just like how you should be iterating your subagents and your commands. All right, so it says it's fixed it already. So let's actually take a look here and let's see if it works. And you can see it is working correctly now. All right, it has fixed the code and now the card is facing the correct way. There's one more issue over here because it's folded the wrong way. So I'm going to once again just take a screenshot of this and then paste it in. Okay, and I'm going to use Whisperflow again. All right, so it looks correctly oriented right now, but the left side of the image is on the right side of the card and the right side of the image is on the left side of the card. Fix it. And here we go. And this is what happens a lot of times when you're working in 3D spaces because the up, right, and forward direction can be different. And the great thing is that you can always very simply just take a picture and then paste it in. But I think it should be looking correct soon. So let's just do a 3D preview. And there you go. So you can see, all right, the card is looking correct now. So this is the card. It is in 3D space. You can zoom to scroll, you can drag to rotate, and this is starting to look pretty nice. There is one bigger issue over here that we want to fix. And the issue here is that it's already made it into a card, right? Because you can see that there's this border and then there's this angular shape over here. So one of the things that you can do is to just tell it to update the prompt so that it doesn't already include the fold. And I'm going to say, the generated image already looks like a folded card. It should be flat so that it can map onto the 3D object correctly. Fix the prompt. Okay, and here we go. And we just kick this off again. This should go ahead and fix the prompt. So these are the little things that you have to fix, but the main bulk of the application is already working correctly, as you can see. Okay. And as you can see here, it says this must be a completely flat image, like a texture or print layout, no 3D perspective on the image itself. Okay, so let's just give this another roll and we should see that the generated image looks a lot better. Okay, and you can see that this generated image is using a very different style, but the idea here is that it is flat so that when we go into the 3D preview, it does look like a card. Okay, so that's looking really good and really nice. It has a different style to this and you can always easily update the prompt so that it will give you the kind of style you want. So if you want more like a Disney Pixar style or you want more like anime style, you can go ahead, update the prompt quite easily to change this. All right, so now that this is done, the last skill that we're going to use is going to focus on the UI design. You can see that this app, even though it's an MVP, looks pretty AI sloppy, right? It has gradients and yes, it has Christmas colors, but overall doesn't look like a great looking app. So now we're going to use the third skill, which is the front-end design skill, to spruce this up. And it's really simple to use, but the impact it gives is really good. So we'll go ahead and try it out right now. All right, so for this final step, we want to spruce this up, and we will be using the front-end design skill. This is not something I created. This is from Anthropic's own GitHub repository, so you should check it out if you want to get hold of some of the best practice skills from Anthropic. So the way that we'll do it is we will look at this prompt that we have here, and it's a very simple prompt. So I'm just going to grab this, and we still have about 52% context remaining. It's actually a good idea to compact it over here. Okay, so if you compact it now, you would free up some of the context window, yet still retaining the information that we've done so far. So we've actually chained our application with several skills, starting with nano-banana, then the Three.js skill, and now finally we'll be making use of the front-end design skill. So just give this a couple of seconds to compact the conversation. Remember, when you run out of context, performance will start to degrade. And that's the reason why when you're using things like ChatGPT, the more you talk with it, the longer the conversation goes, the less performant it starts to become less good. Okay, so here we go. We've compacted it, and we should have freed up a little bit more of a context window. We're going to say, now use the front-end design skill to spruce up this app to make it look much more appealing. And I just noticed that I'm using Haiku over here. So let's switch back to Opus, right? The best one. And I'm just going to paste this back in, and off we go. The idea here is that we want to move away from this very generic AI slop looking kind of design and come up with something that is looking better. Let me just show you this front-end design skill. It's not very long. It's only 42 lines long, yet it is extremely powerful. You will see many people out there just using this skill and immediately making their applications look a lot better. So you don't need overly complicated skills. What you need are really clearly defined skills that are intended to solve the problems, and that's all you really need. And just jumping back into here, and this is the philosophy that I've put into the Skill Creator Plus skills. And what I did was I used it to study lots of different skills to understand what is the best way to define them in order for them to work very well. So it's not about just throwing the kitchen sink at it and telling it to create a skill. Sometimes you need to know how best to make the skills. Okay, so here we can see that it's starting to redesign the entire website. I'm going to scroll up a little bit so that we can see what's going on here. It's using the front-end design skill, and then it's going to explore the current code base one more time, because don't forget, we actually did compact the conversation, so it probably wants to be able to understand what the code base is about. Just scrolling back down here, you can see the context remaining is 76. So previously it was hovering around, if I'm not wrong, like 50%. So we've managed to reclaim some of the context. You're never going to get all 100% because a majority of it is going to be taken up by your existing conversation as well as your tools. But 76% is a good context window to proceed on with what you're working on. So we're going to let this run till the end, and then we'll see what the end result is like. Okay, now it's completed the entire design overhaul. So you can see it's adjusted the typography, the color palette, some atmospheric effects, as well as the UI refinements. So let's take a look at how it looks like right now. Okay, and here, all right, this is the current version, and let's just refresh this. And here you go. All right, so you can see that this is looking a lot better now because it doesn't have that generic gradient. You can see it's this maroon and a textured background this time, and a completely different color scheme. And you will see that if you actually look closely, there's a light shimmering happening on the Christmas card title, as well as other things. So let's just give this a roll. I'm going to use the same photo, and you will see that now even the animations look really nice. They are all in theme with the colors, as well as having this level of polish to the user interface. So you can see that the front-end design skill, it isn't just about how it looks statically, it's how the overall user interface and the experience will look like. All right, so here it is. This is the fold-out Christmas card original image over here. So let's just click on the 3D preview and let's take a look. And here you go. This is the 3D preview of the entire Christmas card. So it's really nice. You can spin around it here within 3D space. It has the nice particle effects, and here we go. So now your overall app, it doesn't look like AI generated user interface. So let me just show you a version that came out from a different run with a little bit, and so that you can see how far we can take this. So you can see this looks completely different from your usual AI generated interfaces. Let me just try uploading my image over here as well on this. So this was from a different one, and I added some additional functionality. So for example, I can type in my name, all right, and then I can change the greeting that's on it as well. So let's change it to "with love this Christmas," and let's try creating this. And you can see this one was another design which I really like. Even the progress bar interface that you see over here was completely designed by the front-end design skill. And I'll show you very quickly what it looked like before the front-end design skill did this, and you will see that it is worlds apart. All right, so let's just take a look over here. I'm going to click this view as a 3D folding card. You can see this is slightly different in terms of how the interface looks. And here you go. That's me with a jumper that I definitely do not have in a house and a Christmas tree that doesn't resemble what I have. You can definitely play around with the prompt so that you can use it for any other thing other than Christmas, and you probably can just do it in one shot. If you want to hand this off and create something new, so you can actually prepare this for New Year's. So let's just do something like this. I'll create a Claude.md now. So when the next person comes along and wants to use AI with this application, they will have this Claude.md that will help the agent orientate itself with what the entire code base is about without having to read the README file. Okay, so we'll let this finish. All right, and you can see now in the past when you did init and it created the Claude.md, it would use the main agent. But you can actually see now the explore subagent is back up here again in order to understand your code base. So this is a pattern that Anthropic and the Claude Code team are moving towards. They're starting to come up with a lot of these specialized agents, right? So agent plan, agent explore, agent general purpose, and all of these different agents, right, it seems to be a pattern that they're utilizing. And there is a difference between sub-agents and skills. And if you want to understand more about how they're different, I actually have a video where I run through very quickly. It's quite important to understand the difference. They each have a place. I find that skills are a lot easier to integrate and make use of than sub-agents. Most of the people who are using sub-agents are using them almost like how they would be using skills. And personally, I don't think that's the right way to use it. I have like lots of videos of how I make use of sub-agents in a multi-agent architecture using an orchestrator. But enough about that for now. We're going to let the explore agent finish up. And then once it's created the Claude.md file, we can move on to the next step where I show you how you can generalize this application to some other greeting very easily. Okay, so the init function is done. The explore sub-agent has finished its job. So it's created a Claude.md showing the entire architecture for this project. And this is sufficient for it to now know what this project is about, what the files are, what the project structure is, and how to go about using it. So I'm going to save this very quickly so that it's in the repository. And now let's go ahead. You don't really need Opus for this next step. All right, let's just switch back to Sonnet so that it's a little bit quicker. And now we're going to say, I want to change this app such that it's no longer Christmas themed, but repurposed for Chinese New Year. And therefore, I would like you to update any text that's used within the generated art as well as the overall theme. Okay, and then I'm going to say, make use of the front-end design skill for any color and theme-related changes. Cool. All right, and I'm just going to kick this off and let's just see how it goes. And I just wanted to show you how you can take hold of this source code and just prompt it going forward. You can make use of the existing skills. You want to make changes to it. If you want to maybe do something more interesting with nano-banana, you would use the nano-banana-builder skill. If you want to do something more interesting with the 3D, you would use the Three.js skill. And here, in this case, I'm just doing something very simple with the front-end design. We'll just let this kick off. All right, so you can see this. I'll transform this into a vibrant Chinese New Year card generator with a bold, festive aesthetic featuring traditional elements. So we'll let this go ahead and make the changes, and then we'll draw back once it's done so we can take stock of seeing how the end result looks like. Okay, it's completed now. It's updated everything. So it's changed the color palette, typography, atmospheric effects, and the prompt as well. All right, so let's take a look at how it looks like in the browser. So this is the Christmas card generator that we had before, so I'm just going to refresh it. And here you go. This is now the Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year style card generator. So I'm going to use the same photo that we've been using. Okay, and you can see it's now themed it correctly based on what you need. You can see the back is now more traditional Chinese colors that are associated with the Lunar New Year, and also the emojis and the nice little effects as well. All right, and here you go. All right, so let's just, we can see this is the generated image over here, and it's definitely a lot more themed to how the Lunar New Year is going to be like. So let's just check out the 3D preview, and here you go. Right? Even the art style, the color choices, the themes, the elements completely look different. And all we need to do was just to prompt it to change the theme. So here it is, right? And it's everything else of the functionality is the same, but it looks aesthetically different. All right, so this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. We live in an age where it's a lot easier now for you to be able to create customized things. You can use AI to be more creative and a lot more personal with what you produce. And as I showed you, I didn't really write a single line of code at all, just made use of code and skills. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you've seen the value of using skills within Claude Code and why they're so powerful. And like I said, I made all the resources from today's video available for free. Just check the link in the description below. Don't forget to give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to also turn on notifications so you'll always be the first to know when new content like this drops. And if you want, and you haven't checked out my other video where I put Gemini 3 Flash to the test, you might want to check it out over here. But if you're more of an OpenAI person and you want to learn more about how the latest GPT 5.2 model fairs, I also have a video about it over here. All right, so till next time, I'll see ya.